Hello, happy Halloween. I hope everybody's doing well. Did you dress up today? My colleagues and I are the humanities department. I know, I know. All right. Well, there was an overwhelming vote to have a recording instead of class tonight. And I understand that. A lot of people have little ones to take trick-or-treating or have otherwise had plans complicated by the holiday or other circumstances out of their control. So I'm going to do a brief recording and you should view it. I will have a corresponding quiz for it that will post on Tuesday. And if you have questions after viewing this recording, especially about the annotated bibliography and your next steps with the research project, please let me know. Okay, I've got time to meet with folks. I've got time to help. I want to make sure that I have everybody in good shape for the next steps and that we're all on track for a really strong research essay, an argumentative research essay. So you all have just turned in your argument analysis essays or position papers outlining the two sides of the issue. So the next step now is for you to create your argument. So now, after having done your research, having seen information that's out there, you should have a way that you're leaning. So what you need to do now is define your position and find the sources that you want to use for this research paper. So your argumentative research paper should use at least 5 substantial sources. So this is where you're going to want to get into more complex writing. This is where you will want to turn toward journal articles and things of that nature and use the library's databases. Now, if you have strong sources from your position paper and you want to include those in the research essay, that is fine. So make sure that you're dealing with substantial sources and that they are reliable, that they are well researched and well written themselves. So, of the sources that you choose for this research essay, you will include 5 of your best sources in your annotated bibliography. Now, I know a lot of folks have not done an annotated bibliography before. An annotated bibliography is the works cited entry for each of your sources, followed by a brief description of that source and how it will be used in your essay. And when I say a brief description, I mean 2 to 3 sentences is fine. Sometimes students write more, and that's okay, but 2 to 3 sentences can absolutely get the job done. So, in your folder this week, there is the annotated bibliography assignment and a sample excerpt of an annotated bibliography. So when, excuse me, I'm almost well. So when you put together your annotated bibliography, you're going to set it up like a standard works cited page. You will have the title specific to yours, so annotated bibliography on, and then your topic. You will list your sources in alphabetical order, and you will use a hanging indent. So that will give you essentially the works cited for your research paper. You'll get feedback on it from me, and then you can make any changes that you need before you turn in the research paper. So that is the big thing to work on this week. I am going to post a video that just goes over the research paper assignment, and I'm going to post a video that covers citations, MLA citations, because I see that people are still having some trouble with that. We've gone over so far an MLA citation for a book and for a web article. So I will review that, and I will go over the journal article citations. So, other things, you all have just turned in the argument analysis essays. You can expect feedback to start trickling in on Tuesday for those of you who submitted them early. And for people who submitted them on time, that's going to be more of a Wednesday and Thursday show up for you. If you have any concerns, if you don't understand your grade or you don't understand any of the feedback, please arrange a meeting with me so that we can go over it together. I want to make sure everybody is on strong footing going into the research essay. So if you're having any issues, we definitely need to address those. And then want to talk to you a little bit about note taking because as you're doing your research, you're going to need to take notes or hold on to your information in order to have everything that you need for this paper. I am old school and I love index cards. I understand that a lot of you are very digital people and that's not going to work for you. Don't worry, I've got an idea for you too. So if you're familiar, and I actually didn't bring them up here with me, I usually do my videos in my office and I'm in the study hall today. So I apologize for not being as prepared as usual, but everybody was going recording. So I wanted to get some material up for you all as early as possible and I'll fill in the gaps when I get back downstairs. So note cards, I like ruled index cards. They come in 3x5 and 4x6 sizes, and they're dirt cheap. You can get them at the dollar store, you can get them at Target. I'm sure Amazon will be glad to send you some with Prime shipping. Also, if you want some and you can't get your hands on them, let me know. I'll get you some and keep them in my office. I love index cards because they're highly portable and they're easy to move around and you can lay them all out and see them all at once. I'm a very visual person. You have heard me talk about how I cut my master's thesis apart and taped it back together and retyped the whole thing. I'm a person who likes to see all of my information, be able to lay it all out and move it all around. I know that you can keep stuff in documents online, but I really like to be able to physically manipulate stuff. It helps me because I'm visual and that's a hands-on way of moving things around and kind of seeing how a project will come together. So if you feel like you have organization trouble or you're not quite sure how you want to put your essay together, I think this is a really wonderful way to go. So what I do is I go ahead and make a card for each of my sources that has the works cited information on it. So I'll go ahead and put that works cited entry on the card. And at the top, index cards have a red line at the top and then blue lines basically like notebook paper. So up top on that red line, I put what the in-text citation would be for that source. Okay, so I set my source cards aside. And then as I go through my sources and read them and find the information that I want to include in my paper, I take that down onto an index card. And on the right side at the top, I put the in-text citation from the previous card that we did for the source. And at the bottom, I note whether I have quoted or paraphrased from that source. This is really important. If you paraphrase and it turns out to have been a quote, if you think you've paraphrased, it turns out to be a quote, that's a form of plagiarism, okay? So you need to be very specific and keep up. And you'll think you'll remember, but you're going to look at so much information and it's going to be a couple weeks before you put your draft together. You'll forget. So it's really important that you note whether you have paraphrased or quoted, okay? So then you will leave the left top blank because later when we make our outline, we will label our cards to go with our outline. Okay. Now, let's say you do not want to use index cards and you want to keep all your stuff electronically. I support that as a person who can be disorganized and lose things. I understand this. So what I recommend you do in that case is you go ahead and put your sources in a Google Doc or in a Word doc in your OneDrive or however you keep your stuff in the cloud. Go ahead and make that works cited entry. Go ahead and make the in-text citation for each of those sources. So then on your document, put your notes on there, type them in, copy paste them in, put the citation in so that you keep up with each of these sources. You don't want to get mixed up about where your information came from. You want to make sure you have everything and have it noted. And then you will note whether you've quoted or paraphrased and just leave a good bit of space between your excerpts, your notes that you take. So then when it's time to get everything together, you've got two options. You can go through your document and color code or maybe copy paste out into separate documents that you have labeled with a particular topic area. Or you can do what I would do, which is print it all out, cut it all up, and lay it out like index cards. So those are some options. There are some digital note card templates. There are also some fun tools. I have Rocketbook index cards. I'm kind of a Rocketbook nerd. I don't use it as much as I wish I did. When you see me put the orange things on the board, those are Rocketbook beacons that let me digitize our whiteboards Rocket Books, they make notebooks and they make index cards. And with both of those things, you can scan them in their app and put them in the cloud. You can link it to a Google Drive or whatever. So that can be a fun tool, but it's certainly not necessary. And it costs money. If you're a person who likes gadgety things and needs to get excited about some new pens and a new notebook or some new fancy index cards, those are things, and they go on sale from time to time. So those are some options for note taking. The important thing is to do what works for you. This isn't a situation where I'm going to like take up your note cards or demand that you give me access to your files or anything like that. If you've got a method that already works for you, that's fine. Go ahead and use that method. But for those of you who kind of feel like, what do I do? This is what you do. So I hope that helps. So overview, this week, the annotated bibliography is due, and I'm going to go ahead and kick that to Monday like I did with the essay, because I know some of y'all are going to need more time with it being a busy week. So we'll kick that deadline to Monday. So that's a blanket due date kick. And you will need to also do a checkpoint. I'd love to get those Friday, but if it comes in Monday, it's not the end of the world. So like I had mentioned, I'm going to be adding on videos after this one today, and I will be posting a quiz on Tuesday for you to take to show me that you did watch the video and that you got the information that you needed. So if this video leaves you with more questions than answers, please let me know what you have questions about. And as a reminder, I will be going over Works Cited, and I will go over the full research paper assignment in separate videos later today. So I hope you all have a wonderful Halloween. I hope you're able to enjoy the evening. Oh, and as a reminder, my office hour will be fully virtual tonight, so please don't stop by the office. I have to get home before the kids start running all over the neighborhood, so I can safely get my car into the driveway with no danger to anyone. So have a great day, and I will be back with some more videos later this afternoon. Take care.